Yo, what is up, Birds fans? Listen up because Philly is absolutely buzzing right now, and not necessarily for the right reasons. We are talking about the future of this franchise and a massive shift that is happening behind closed doors at the NovaCare complex as we speak. If you bleed green and want to stay ahead of every single roster move, coaching change, and locker room rumor, you need to hit that subscribe button right now. Seriously, don't miss out on the real talk. Smash that notification bell because the Eagles news cycle never sleeps, and neither do we. Jalen Hurts is officially being pushed into a corner by the same organization that just spent all week singing his praises at the NFL annual meetings. It is wild out here, folks. 1 minute Jeffrey Lurie is telling the whole world that there is no bigger fan of number one than him, calling him a Super Bowl MVP caliber leader and the most dedicated guy in the building. Then, literally hours later, the script flips entirely. A massive report just dropped exposing the deep-seated tension regarding that stagnant offense we all suffered through last season. They are putting him through the ringer, dissecting his role in that horrific 4-verts play call that basically killed our season against the Niners. But here is the real kicker that has everyone in South Philly losing their minds tonight. It is not just about looking back at the calcified offense of 2023. It is about a forced evolution that is happening right now. The front office and the coaching staff are no longer just asking for improvement. They are demanding a total transformation of how our franchise quarterback plays the game. We are talking about moving away from everything that made him a superstar to embrace a style he has never been comfortable with. They are tossing him into the deep end of the pool without a life vest to see if he can swim in a scheme that feels completely foreign to his natural instincts. Why would a team that won 11 games and made 5 straight postseasons suddenly decide to break their most valuable asset? The answer is buried in a new coaching philosophy that might just be the biggest gamble in the history of the Philadelphia Eagles. If this works, we are talking dynasty. If it fails, well, the fallout would be catastrophic for everyone involved from the owner down to the sidelines. Is the organization actually sabotaging their own success by forcing a square peg into a round hole, or is this the tough love required to finally bring another parade to Broad Street? The details coming out of the meeting suggest that the patience for the status quo has completely evaporated among the brass. To really understand why the city is on edge, we got to look at the history of how Jalen Hurts carried this team to the mountaintop. This is a guy who helped generate 2 Super Bowl appearances and brought home a Lombardi trophy while leading an offense that the rest of the league eventually caught up to. Last year was a grind, man. Even with 11 wins and a division title, the eye test told a different story. The offense felt old. It felt predictable. Lurie himself admitted that the unit was not what anyone was accustomed to seeing. Now, the team is bringing in Sean Mannion as the new offensive coordinator, hoping to find another young coaching gem. But this move to a Kyle Shanahan or Sean McVay-style scheme is a massive pivot. We are talking about pre-snap motion, under-center looks, and a heavy reliance on play action to marry the run and the pass. These are things that historically, our QB has not looked comfortable doing. He has always been the guy who thrives in the shotgun, using his legs and his unique skill set to create magic when the play breaks down. The Eagles are basically telling him to stop being himself and start being a system quarterback. It is a classic case of the organization focusing on what a player can't do instead of maximizing what he can do. Remember what the legendary Bill Parcells used to say, "Tell me what a player can do, not what he can't." It feels like the coaching staff is ignoring that wisdom right now. They are so hell-bent on fixing the stagnant offense that they might be breaking the leader of the locker room in the process. The expectations in Philly are always through the roof, especially when you have the most talented roster in football. Lurie said he is hell-bent on getting another championship, and he is willing to do everything possible to make it happen. But in the NFL, doing everything possible usually means making bold, risky changes. The question is whether the team is being too impatient with a guy who has already proven he can win it all. Let's look at the cold hard numbers because they reveal a truth that the front office can't ignore. Last season, when the offense became calcified, the efficiency ratings plummeted in the second half of the year. Despite those 11 wins, the Eagles' success rate on third downs dropped significantly compared to their Super Bowl run. Now, the proposed shift to a Shanahan-style offense usually sees a 20% increase in pre-snap motion and nearly double the amount of snaps taken from under center. For a guy like Jalen Hurts, who has spent the vast majority of his professional career in the shotgun, that is a statistical nightmare to adjust to overnight. There are 3 real scenarios playing out here. Scenario 1 is the dream. Jalen embraces the motion, masters the play action from under center, and the Eagles' offense becomes an unstoppable juggernaut that keeps defenses guessing. If he adapts, his completion percentage could spike because of the easy throws created by the scheme. Scenario 2 is the struggle. We see a repeat of the stagnation as he hesitates in the pocket, trying to process a system that doesn't feel natural. This leads to more sacks and more turnovers, which would be a disaster given the talent on this roster. Scenario 3 is the most dangerous one for the franchise. If the offense starts slow and the tough love phase turns into a locker room rift, we could see a total breakdown in trust between the quarterback and the coaching staff. You can't win in this league if the guy under center doesn't believe in the play call. The stats show that teams moving to this heavy motion scheme usually take at least 6 to 8 weeks to find their rhythm. In a city like Philadelphia, does anyone really think the fans or the media will give them 2 months to figure it out? The pressure is already at a boiling point. If the birds come out flat in week 1, the noise is going to be deafening. We are looking at a high-stakes gamble where the data suggests a steep learning curve, but the expectations demand immediate perfection. The front office is betting the house that their star can evolve, but history shows that changing a veteran's core identity this late in the game is a path littered with failed experiments. It is either going to be a masterclass in coaching or the beginning of a very messy end for this era of Eagles football. All right, here is the insider take on this whole situation. This feels like the classic Philadelphia Eagles front office overcorrection. We saw the offense hit a wall, and instead of just tweaking it, they decided to blow up the entire philosophy. Forcing Jalen Hurts to play like Jared Goff or Brock Purdy is a mistake. You pay a guy like him for his elite, unique traits. You don't pay him hundreds of millions of dollars to be a game manager in a motion-heavy system. I get that Lurie wants another ring, but he needs to be careful not to alienate his best player. The tough love phase is fine in training camp, but once the bullets start flying in September, you have to play to your strengths. If Sean Mannion is as smart as they say he is, he will find a middle ground. If they try to force Jalen into a box, this season is going to go south fast. I love the ambition, but I hate the risk of losing what makes our QB1 special. We need that dual threat magic, not a statue under center. This is a defining moment for Nick Sirianni too. He has to manage this ego clash and ensure the scheme serves the player, not the other way around. The vibe in the city is tense because we know how high the stakes are. We can't afford a wasted year of this championship window. This is a massive turning point for the Birds, and I want to hear from the real fans. Do you think the Eagles are making a huge mistake by forcing Jalen Hurts to change his entire style, or is this exactly what we need to get back to the Super Bowl? Are you worried about this new scheme, or do you trust the process? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now, because I am reading every single one of them. We need to settle this. And look, if you want to stay in the loop with the most intense, local coverage of everything Philadelphia Eagles, you have to subscribe to the channel. We are here every day breaking down the film, the rumors, and the drama that only happens in this city. Hit that subscribe button, join the family, and let's get ready for a wild ride this season. Thanks for watching, stay loud, stay proud, and as always, fly Eagles fly. We will see you in the next video with more breaking news that you won't find anywhere else. Peace.